Yeah, thanks, Jim. We're pouring water. Okay. We all set? All right.
Apple.
Good evening. This is the Town Council regular session. It's Tuesday, February 25th, 2014, and it is 7:30. Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
For liberty and justice for all.
Sue, can we have the roll call?
Councilman Donnelly,
Here?
Council Vice President McEntee,
Here.
Councilman O'Neill,
Here?
Councilwoman Healy.
Here.
It is noted that Council President Whaley is absent.
Thank you.
So is your microphone on? I could barely hear you.
Well, we have the approval of the minutes of previous meetings. We have the work session of February 10th, 2014. Can I have a motion?
I move
make-
approval, or?
No, go ahead.
All right, move approval of those minutes from the work session, February 10, 2014.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. We have the approval of the minutes of the regular session for February 10th, 2014. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Approve.
Anybody second?
And a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Does anyone want anything removed from the consent agenda?
Seeing none, then I move for approval of tonight's consent agenda.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. That brings us to the public hearing. That's public hearing 7A on the agenda.
One license.
Where is it? Oh, sorry.
6E.
Okay, we have one license, license 6E. This is a resolution granting a Class F 19-hour beverage license to the Matthew Saravo Memorial Foundation, Inc., DBA The Maddie Fund, on 100 High Street, Suite F, Wakefield, Rhode Island, for an event to be held on Monday, May 26, 2014, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. under a tent in the parking lot at 456 Main Street in conjunction with the Maddie Fund Memorial Day 5K Road Race. Application by Richard Saravo, Director, Wakefield, Rhode Island. This is a new license. Is anyone here for this license? Oh, would you please state your name and take the podium?
My name is George Donnelly. I'm the Executive Director at the Maddie Fund. Richard Saravo is out of town and gives his regrets that he couldn't be here this evening.
So, George, can you tell me where the race is going?
Sure. It's
held
going to start
exactly.
it will start at the Bank of Rhode Island. This board has already approved the race. It's going to end at the Muse Tavern, and that's where the post-race party, where the liquor license comes into play.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the town council?
No, I think this has been a topic of discussion before, so I think this part of it is just the last leg.
It is, and we'll be clear out of the area by 12:30. I think as stated previously, or noon. So it's an early wrap-up.
Anybody else?
No, I personally look forward to it, and also with Veterans Memorial Day, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great
I think it's
thing for the
important.
town. Yeah, I think it's going to work out well.
Great event for the town, so I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, George.
And, George, do you know what time the race starts? Is it 8:30?
It's 8, yeah, and we're off the course by, even though the walkers by 10 o'clock, we're way done.
And how much is it to purchase a ticket to?
We're working on that right now for price differentials for people who register early. In the past, we've done it at $20, but we may do it to $30 just to encourage early registration so that we can kind of know what we're looking at rather than afterwards.
Very good.
I think you're going to have a great turnout.
I think we are too. I think this is a great growth. In June, we had done it up at URI for the last 10 years, but I think, with the parade and bringing it into town, I think is going to boost our numbers, and I think, do some economic growth as well for the town.
Oh, I agree with you, and we have seen Rick in here before on this, and
Yeah,
it sounds like a great idea.
It is. It kind of brings that hometown feel to it, which is terrific.
Very good. Well, hearing no more questions, do I have a motion?
I move approval of agenda item, I think it's E, 6E.
Do I have a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed, so it
Excellent.
passes 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
So now that brings us to the public hearing. So this is public hearing 7A. This is a public hearing in accordance with Rhode Island General Laws 24-6, abandonment by towns, to consider the abandonment of a portion of Plains Road consisting of approximately 2,300 feet of roadway length south of Flag Road. The portion of Plains Road being considered for abandonment is bounded and described as follows: Plains Road from its intersection with 30-Acre Pond Road extending easterly, then northerly to the intersection with Flag Road. The purpose of this hearing is to determine whether said portion of Plains Road has ceased to be useful to the public. So this is an open public hearing, so if anyone, well, I guess I'll turn it over to you, Steve, first.
Yeah, let me give some background. On November 19th of 2013, the town and the university signed into a shared services agreement relative to Plains Road. That shared services agreement provided definition to ownership, use, maintenance, and future improvement responsibilities for that road. The agreement essentially looked at the road as 4 different segments. The section that's listed on this map in red is an area of approximately 2,350 feet. It's that section of Plains Road. This is the intersection with Route 138 and Ministerial Road. This is where the first curve on Ministerial Road is, on Plains Road, and comes to a 90-degree turn right at the Ryan Center, and then proceeds up to Flag Road. What's proposed here this evening is for the town to abandon that portion of Plains Road, which is identified in red. That will, because the university owns on both sides of that right-of-way, with an abandonment occurring, that section of right-of-way will become university property, which will then be controlled by the university, and the university will have the opportunity, if they wish, to be able to close off that road either permanently or for different times. If, in fact, university events are occurring at the Ryan Center, there may be a greater ability to be able to maintain and regulate traffic and pedestrian safety. A component of the agreement also is that the university will take over operations and maintenance responsibility for Plains Road from its intersection with 138, including the new section of the university loop road that was constructed last year, and that section of Plains Road from its intersection with Flag up to the extent of the university's holdings on Flag Road, on the extension of Plains Road. The town of South Kingstown also agreed with the university that we would do road improvements prior to turning over that road for maintenance. Paving of the road was done from the intersection of Flag Road to the extent of the university property. Cost on that was approximately $84,000. Under the agreement, the shared services agreement, the university will contribute 50% of that cost, or about $42,000. Why are we doing this? We're doing it really for a couple of reasons. One is the Plains Road has become, after construction of the Ryan Center, a new road for the university's access points. The university has also constructed a new segment of road which is a safer means of pass and repass for the general public, rather than having the general public have to come to a 90-degree turn on the existing Plains Road. If there's activities occurring and the parking lot is being used across from the Ryan Center, pedestrian access to the Ryan Center is in jeopardy if, in fact, the traffic is continued to be, to have to circulate through it. With this new road condition, through traffic that wishes to get to Flag Road or to points north on Plains Road will have the opportunity to use the new road segment that was constructed by the university and be able to avoid having to come through that intersection and come through the Ryan Center access point that currently exists. For the town's purposes, we do not see Plains Road really having a local municipal purpose at this point for that segment of the road. The university has really taken on greater traffic volume uses of that road since the construction on the athletic facilities, and as the university master plan has developed much of the receiving for university purposes within the western portion of the campus. For the university's purpose, they would like to have control and ownership of the road so that if they want to make improvements, they can make improvements, which may include upgrade of the road at some later time to provide greater access to the upper campus. It also provides them with the ability to be able to deal with underground utilities without having to get approval from the town. I think that summarizes the agreement. We do not see that there's a necessity for the town to own that property any longer for that section, that 2,300-foot section. With us tonight is the Public Safety Director for the university, Steve Baker, so he may want to address some of the issues as to the university's desire to have this abandonment occur so that they can take control of that segment of the roadway.
Thank you. Steve, would you like to come forward?
Thank you for the opportunity. I think the town manager summed it up quite nicely. I think it's a good agreement for both the town and the university. And I think it does increase safety, especially when we have large events at the Ryan Center or the athletic fields. A lot of the improvements we've made in the design area of the roadways in the last 2 years has led to a 25% reduction in accidents on our campus, and I think this will continue that trend. I know Vern Wyman did a lot of work on this. He couldn't be here tonight, but I'm happy to answer any questions in regards to this project.
Any questions? Or-
One question I have is, like, as Steve was saying, do you plan to close the road off permanently or close it off, when there are events?
Yeah, at this point, there's no plan that I'm aware of to close the roads, that section of the road permanently. When we have some events, we do have traffic control on those roads. Sometimes we have directional changes to have one-way traffic in, one-way traffic out of the event. And again, that's all for safety purposes. But from what I've seen of the master plan, I've seen nothing that's going to close those roads off on a permanent basis.
So probably like close that intersection off where the 90-degree is so people can access the parking lot and things like that without having dodging cars.
Right,
Which I've done in the past.
Yeah, it is a very busy roadway when we have events.
Obviously, you'd need to leave it open for handicap parking, or people have past parking, and right in front of the Ryan Center, I would think. But I don't know. I guess you could come from the other angle?
We have been stationing a traffic officer at that intersection, and if people have the pass to go to the Ryan Center lot or handicap parking, they're allowed to go in that way. And we still maintain the traffic officers at the crosswalks for people that are crossing over, even though
Right.
the traffic is lessened, there still has to be some safety personnel there. But and as the manager said, I know the university plans improvements along the other section of Plains from Route 138, and that area is getting a lot more use with the athletic fields.
So there is, when you come down Flag Road, you can get right into that parking lot if you keep going on that connector? You don't
Yes,
have to.
there's 2 entrances into the lot on that new connector.
As long as you stop at the stop sign.
Ah,
It's a yep, that's a 4-way stop there.
And there is parking there, right? The students park there, if I'm not
It's
mistaken.
a commuter lot during the day, but within that area, we just added 360 new parking spots last year. So I've only seen it full maybe on one occasion, right at the beginning of the year, until students find places closer to park, closer on to their classes. But generally, even for events, there's still plenty of parking.
There's also additional overflow parking with a commuter lot that's right on Flag itself, if in fact those 2 lots were to fill.
Okay, thank you.
I think one of my questions would have been, are you satisfied with the parking now? You have the huge lot in front of Keeney, 138 to Keeney. Now you've got this inside this L up to the New Plains Road, and you have above Flag Road. But is the university satisfied with the number of parking spots? That,
The university might be satisfied, but I don't think the students will ever be satisfied. But there are plans also to redo Keeney Lot within the Route 138 project. So we know we believe that's coming. That's a state project coming down the road,
But at the moment, you're satisfied with the number of spots that you have for parking?
especially in that end of the campus, yes.
Okay.
no further questions? Anyone else from the public who'd like to speak on this issue?
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Hearing none, well, we're back at the table. Steve, I'd just like to summarize this. So the university, we're going to abandon the road for that segment, segment 2, right, as it's referred to in the
That's correct.
in the agreement. And URI is going to take over all the maintenance, repair responsibilities, and all the costs associated with that. But we are going to continue to do the snow plowing and sanding on that section,
That's correct.
on that segment too, along with the
Along
rest
with
of
the,
Plains Road.
Along with the section that URI constructed. So
Okay.
we will be plowing that entire area.
But we also have a hold harmless clause in this, that we will not be liable for any accidents or injuries that occur on that, on the Plains Road that we're abandoning, segment 2.
That's correct, and the university also has a similar hold harmless with the town for the actions that we may be taking. So it's a reciprocal agreement as far as the admission on the liability.
Well, thank you. Well, I guess we need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
A motion is made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, 0. So the motion passes 4-0. And now we need a motion as to what to do in this matter. So who's going to read it?
Where is it?
It's 7A, public hearing.
All right, I'll read it. I make a motion that we approve the public hearing that was just closed in accordance with Rhode Island General Laws 24-6, abandonment by towns, to consider the abandonment of a portion of Plains Road considering of approximately 2,300 feet of roadway length south of Flag Road. The portion of Plains Road being considered for abandonment is bounded and described as follows. Plains Road from its intersection with 30 Acre Pond Road, extending easterly and then northerly to the intersection with Flag Road. The purpose of the hearing is to determine whether said portion of Plains Road has ceased to be useful to the public.
So Meg, could I help you with a couple of things on this?
Of course.
So, we're going to drop the word consider. Instead, your motion is actually to approve the abandonment
to approve.
of that portion of Plains Road.
Thank
And
you.
that you have determined that that portion of Plains Road has ceased to be useful for the public based upon the testimony that you heard this evening, particularly with regard to the fact that this is going to greatly increase the safety on Plains Road, because you are going to, the new segment is a much safer way to travel Plains Road, and the area that you're abandoning is an area that will now be under the control of the university, and for that reason, we won't have to worry about the types of accidents that might happen, given that right hand,
Around that corner, yes.
around that corner. And I don't know if there's anything more you want to add, but I think if you could.
Nope, so move, if it, as you said, to add that in there, I don't know if I have to read it again, but
I think as long as everyone understands,
Mm-hmm.
you're fine.
I think that's quite clear, and I'd like to second that.
Well, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Looks like there's nobody, so motion carries 4-0.
thank you, Steve.
Thank you. So that brings us to Communication 8A. This is a resolution adopted February 10th, 2014, by the Charlestown Town Council in support of legislation to repeal Rhode Island General Laws 17-19-15, party levers that provide for master lever voting, is received, placed on file, and the Town Council further directs. What would we like to do on this?
I'd like to move that we place that communication on file.
I second that for sure.
Any further discussion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. That brings us to comments from interested citizens. So if anybody wants to take the microphone and get something off your chest, this is the time. So, looks like we have no takers. So next, we have the town manager's report.
Just wanted to mention that we have a work session scheduled for Thursday of this week. Subjects of that work session will be associated with a review of the municipal financial audit from the 2012-13 year, as well as a review of a water rate study that has been conducted at the town council's request. That meeting is scheduled to begin, I believe, is it 7 o'clock, Sue?
6:30, I thought.
6:30 on Thursday evening. The second thing I wanted to mention is that I do want to acknowledge and thank the Public Works crews that have worked tirelessly over the past winter season. It's been a very difficult season, and yes, we do have still enough salt for one more sanding if necessary.
We might be the only town left in the state right now.
Well, John Shock is never going to go without. So I think they've done a marvelous job.
Oh, fantastic.
Very good.
Certainly, we are over budget, but certainly we will be able to revise the budget with the Public Works Department to be able to ensure that we continue to provide the services that people expect.
Yeah, that's great, Steve, and good job, John, and to all of your staff. You've been doing a great job.
And Terry's staff as well.
And Terry's.
Kudos.
Oh, I can tell you it's wonderful.
Terry, have you been out there plowing?
I've been from Woonsocket to Connecticut, and when I see the difference in the roads, it's amazing. You guys have done a phenomenal job. It's very pleasing. It's a great opportunity that we live here. You guys have done wonderful.
So that brings us to, are you all set, Steve?
All set.
All set, okay. So the town solicitor's report.
Just a quick update for you on the lawsuit involving the Matunic sheet pile wall. I did find out that that case was assigned to Superior Court Judge Stephen Nugent, so he will be the judge who will be deciding the case, and needless to say, as soon as we have a decision, we'll let you know.
Could that happen next
It-
few months, or is this?
Yeah,
we looking-
I would certainly hope in the next near few months.
Okay.
They still haven't asked for a restraining order on this.
No,
Right,
no.
Mike?
No, there's
So-
been no request for a restraining order.
We're in
So
a
the
position
case is
where we
going to be
can
decided
continue-
on the merits, yeah.
So we can continue with it at
That's
this
correct.
point. Okay. And we have no appointments tonight, I don't believe. Is there any?
No.
Okay, but we did discuss putting those two planning board, people that applied for the planning board on the next meeting, which would be March 10th. Great, thanks, Sue. And so that brings us to new business. New business item, that's 13B, which is a resolution authorizing an award of bid to TBNG Consulting, 50 Industry Drive, West Haven, Connecticut, for information technology consultant services for installation of a Microsoft Exchange email environment in an amount not to exceed $7,040, and as further directed in a memorandum from the Information Technology Director to the Town Manager dated February 18th, 2014, and entitled IT Services for Exchange Recommendation. Steve?
Recommendation is as presented from the IT director. Two bids for the installation of the services were provided. Based on her review, she's recommended that the award be made to TBNG.
Okay.
Seeing
Any
no-
questions?
no, Seeing no questions, I move for approval of new business resolution B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. So all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. That brings us to new business item E, which is a resolution authorizing an award of bid to Mega Mechanical Services LLC, 98 Commerce Street, Glastonbury, Connecticut, for HVAC modifications at the animal shelter per a vendor proposal dated January 24th, 2014, in an amount not to exceed $19,240, and is further directed in a memorandum from the police chief to the town manager dated February 14th, 2014, and entitled Bid Recommendation, Animal Shelter HVAC Modification/Air Purification System.
I think that the chief's memo talks about the three issues that we're dealing with as far as trying to modify the HVAC system within the animal shelter. As noted, one of the issues that we're dealing with is that in an environment that we're maintaining the animal population, we've got an awful lot of dander that's in the air, and air circulation is very important. The problem that we had is that in the initial design of the HVAC system, it provided for a total replacement with outside air on a constant basis. Obviously, during the summer or during the winter, you're exchanging air into a building that has to either be heated or chilled at an exorbitant cost. The modifications, 2 steps have been taken so far with the installation of variable speed drive system that's under, will be installed shortly once we get the rebate from National Grid, as well as the first step as far as outside air dampers. The third step, which is the more costly item, which is on the agenda tonight, is to provide for a proper air purification system, as well as to be able to modify the air intake from the exterior of the building. By doing that, we think we can substantially cut the energy cost associated with heating and cooling of that building. At this point, there's approximately $170,000 available for maintenance upkeep of that building. So the monies that are being proposed for expenditure will come from non-tax dollars. The other thing I wanted to point out is that we're working with Mega on this job. Mega is the contractor of record that the town has hired for maintenance of HVAC, both at the police station and at the animal facility. Rather than using their rate, the current rate of the $77 an hour for services, we had to increase that to $89 to meet the requirements for the federal requirements for anything that's over a $10,000 construction contract. we have to pay prevailing wages. So the prices that we have are specific. It's an exclusive contract that we've negotiated with Mega to be able to perform this work. They have done a substantial amount of work as far as the retrofits that we've needed to do on this building since its modifications back in 2012.
Any questions at the table? The only thing, I was thinking about this when I'm reading it. It's too bad, because it's a relatively new building, and it seems like it should have, the designer should have thought of this back when the building was, built.
When we worked with this, the architect had a subcontract for the HVAC, which did not work out well for it.
Yeah.
And in fact, much of the modifications before the building was even completed were completed through Mega. So, yeah, we're still dealing with a problem. Once we saw what the cost of energy was based on the configuration of the system that they put in, we felt that it had to be modified to be able to first provide a proper environment for the animals and the staff, but secondly, and more importantly, to be able to cut the operation and costs associated with that building.
No, I agree with you. It's money well spent at this point to save in the future, but it just seems a shame that with such a new building, it should be an issue at all. But with that said, I certainly support your position on it.
I support it as well, but is there any way to talk to whoever?
No, we've closed out that contract,
Okay,
and we're beyond what the warranty periods would be.
okay.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve item number E.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. That brings us to new business item F, which is a resolution accepting the edits and minor modifications to the Town of South Kingstown, Rhode Island Comprehensive Community Plan 2013, as detailed in the memorandum from the Director of Planning to the Town Manager dated February 19, 2014, and entitled South Kingstown Comprehensive Community Plan 5-Year Update. It is the finding of the Town Council that said edits and minor modifications are required to address state review comments under Rhode Island General Laws 45-22.2-9, Comprehensive Planning and Land Use Regulation Act, and do not change the goal, policy, and implementation structure of the plan. So it's all yours, Van.
Good evening. Actually, the draft resolution provides a good summary of what is necessary to get this to the last stage of approval before the state. The council will recall last March the plan update was approved and sent to the state for review. It did come back with their comments in early October, and there was actually 33 comments relative to the plan itself based on various reviews that were conducted under the aegis of the Comprehensive Planning and Land Use Regulation Act. Comments 1 through 11 listed in the states, which are detailed in my memorandum to the town manager, are required for a 5-year approval of the plan, which is what we're seeking. They are, I would characterize them as technical edits because they do not change the goal, policy, or implementation structure of the plan. Veteran council members may recall back in 2005 we went through a similar exercise. So this is kind of the capstone of the process for consideration of a comp plan, which is a lengthy process of compilation, review, and approval. And so I liken it to being in the red zone on a football. And it's kind of on the 1-inch line at this point in time. The edits that have been reviewed in work session and public session by the planning board, and they're recommended for approval. In the memo package, there was a letter of a recommendation to the council from the planning board chair, Maria Mack, outlining the planning board action and recommending the council take a similar. I mean, I can plow through these if you are so desire, but they are laid out in lavender as, so to speak, in my memorandum, which is 9 pages. So, but whatever the council's pleasure is, I could talk all night on the subject.
I think we've heard it before, but does anybody need,
No, I'm all set.
Anything
It's right. I know I
explained?
have it. Nope.
Crossing the i's and dotting, yeah. crossing the
Exactly.
T's and dotting the i's.
No, I think Ben and his staff have done yeoman's work here, and each year, he's right, we're about to cross the goal line, the state thinks of another way to add something in there,
Right.
but it's as perfect as it can get, as good as it can get. So thank you, Vin, all of you.
Oh, you're welcome.
yeah, I mean, we've heard it quite a bit, and I know the planning board has heard it
Right.
more than they want to at this
Yeah,
point.
the planning
right?
board has done tremendous work on this
have.
document. They really have.
Yes, and we give them a lot of credit for sitting through a lot of discussion on this, to say the least.
Yeah.
So, with that said, do I have a motion?
Yeah, I move that we approve item 13F.
Second that?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vin.
So that brings us to the end of the evening, and I think that went well. So,
It certainly did.
do we have a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn?
I second yours, Paul.
All in favor? Aye. Motion to adjourn carries.